Announcing episode 21. Kamusta to all our fans out there in the Philippines. Thank you guys much. A lot of likes on the Philippines this week, boys. So kamusta to all our fans out there, and thank you for liking the Raider Live page. If you like the Raider Live page, please like the YouTube page as well. That's how we get paid, and we don't get paid very much right now. Very much is zero.
Yeah.
So, actually in the negative goes, but yeah, we're not talking about that. All right, my name is Raider Live, and with me as always is Filthy Rich. Filthy Rich, how you doing?
I'm doing, bro.
Okay, good. I thought you self-muted there for a second. That was that was interesting. All right, also with us as always is the Judge, Jimmy James. Judge, how you doing?
Good. I'm actually excited to see where Messi's gonna go. He wants out of Barcelona. Soccer talk, crazy.
All right, save that for another show. I don't know if soccer's big over there in the Philippines. Is it?
Oh, it's big everywhere.
That's true. Well, it's not big here in Minnesota. You know what is big here in Minnesota?
Go Loons.
Just right around the corner. You know what it is? The old Vikings coming up. Well, I can't find that horn anymore. So anyway, we'll forget about that. All right, boys, you ready to get into the news? We got a lot of news this week. If you guys are ready to get into it, let's do it.
Bring it.
All right. All right, Bruising News. First thing we do every week in Bruising News, since the name of the show is Bruising News, is Papa Brew. So, gentlemen. Oh. Like James, I'm squirting all over the place.
Phrasing?
Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, I had to do that before it was all over the place. I'm drinking some Boom Island blood orange. Interesting. Tastes pretty good. All right. First bit of news we got to get into. And Judge, you know how excited I am about this news. We've been talking about it on this show for weeks, months. If we've been talking for years, we've been talking about it for years. It's been announced. The one we said, Terence Crawford is going to fight Kell Brook coming up in November. We all know that Kell Brook is going to dominate that fight hands down and knock Crawford out of the ring. But we're still going to talk about it anyway. Judge, since you are Crawford super fan and head of his mail-in fan club, why don't you take it from here talking about Kell Brook versus Crawford, and then me and Filthy Rich will tell you why you're wrong.
Oh, jeez. You know, I really hate the gang up that you guys got going on about this. This is ridiculous. I got other people I talk to, two-thirds of the friends of two-thirds of the show. He's on my side, but either way, man.
Acquaintance of the show, Matt Seabuck?
Whatever his name is, that guy. That guy.
Wait, 2/3?
Yeah,
Two-thirds. Yeah, 2/3. I count as two when we're talking about Crawford. Get out of here.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, man. To be honest, I'm glad to see him fight a name. I know if anyone's going to give him crap, it's because he's not fighting people. I still believe Crawford to be one of the best pound-for-pound active people right now. However, everybody always says he has no resume. Well, I'll take this fight. I'll take it just so we can shut some of these people up.
His resume is as impressive as mine is.
No, it's way more impressive than yours. But, yeah, man, I mean, I'd be more excited if he was fighting Thurman for me personally. I think Thurman's going to be, for me, it's the tougher fight. I mean, we'll touch base on this maybe probably a little bit later, but I'm glad that he's fighting somebody because being a Crawford fan, very frustrated that he has taken as long as he has to make a fight against a name, regardless if it's big or small, somebody that's actually got some sort of a resume. I'm starting to get annoyed with Bud not just taking something at this point in his career because he is not getting younger. So, with that being said, he's still going to beat Brook. Probably going to cave his face completely in. It's going to be terrible, and I hope he doesn't kill him. But I'm glad that it's a big name fight.
Face now. He's got both of them eye sockets. Enough scar tissue on them things now that you ain't breaking that. It's like you might have metal plates in there. I don't even know anymore. I mean, but Kell Brook, my guy. Filthy Rich, what do you think about this fight coming up?
I kind of agree with everything the judge just said. I was recently looking over his body of work, and I couldn't find one first ballot bona fide Hall of Famer on his resume compared to everyone else on these pound for pound lists that are hypothetically made up.
Can you find a Hall of Famer period on his list?
Right. So I think
not even a first ballot. I'm just saying a Hall of Famer.
Well, maybe Gamboa. Gamboa could be a Hall of Famer. I mean, he has the longevity. That's another topic. But I think Kell Brook is going to be the first Hall of Famer he fights. And this will shut the doubters up, I believe. Because it looks like online and these message boards, all those Crawford people are starting to turn on him, wondering where these big fights are, why he's at 147 for this many years and hasn't taken a big fight. Now, I don't know who's ducking who or if networks are getting in the way with this, but I'm excited to see Crawford fight Kell Brook. I wouldn't even mind if he took another tune-up before this fight, but I'm excited for it. I think Kell Brook wins. I think Kell Brook's just a little too big for him.
Yeah, he's too big and strong for him. I think. Go on. I'm sorry. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, I think Kell Brook wins. I think Kell Brook is a little bit bigger. I think it goes the distance. Crawford just was it Ramirez? Benavidez, Jose Benavidez. I think that went 12 rounds before Crawford knocked him out. Wasn't it Jose Benavidez? Am I wrong?
Oh, his last fight. I'm not 100% sure on that. No, his last fight was against Kavalukas or
Kavalauskas.
The
Who?
Dude from dude.
Yeah,
he's on my resume too.
Whoa, you know what his fight was before that?
Hold on.
Who did he knock out before that?
I don't know. I'm
Amir
looking
Khan.
Oh! That was the infamous punch in the testicles fight, though. You know, and you can't. If a man doesn't have testicles, he can't fight.
So I don't know. Crawford going the distance with a guy named Benavidez. I think the Kell Brook Crawford fight goes the distance. I think Kell Brook wins. I don't think either one's going to knock each other out. I think it goes the distance. I think Kell Brook wins. I think there's going to be a Canelo Golovkin situation where the audience sees one thing and the judges see something else. I think they want to protect Crawford's record in order to generate more money for a bigger fight with maybe Errol Spence.
Yeah, I kind of have to disagree with you. I don't think he can win on decision, you know, unless it's just a complete domination of a fight where he knocked him down once or twice and whatever. He's got to knock him out. Kell Brook is bigger than him. He's a lot bigger than him. He's a lot stronger than him. Probably not as fast as him, but, you know, all it takes is one or two big shots.
What do we have here? I think I have Brook by decision.
I got Brook by knockout in the 10th. Stoppage. TKO.
Here we go. Here's the one I want to hear. Go for it.
Look, man. So well, would this have to be a catch weight? Is Brook 154?
I don't know. Like he's been fighting at 154, I believe, but I can see him coming down to 147.
It's 147s where they're
And the other thing is, I don't even think this fight is signed yet. I think they're in talks right now. So
they get November 14th is the date. However, I haven't seen anything on like sign. But I mean, with that being said, I mean Crawford in his last 10 fights, 11 fights, has only one decision, and that's against Postal. He's knocked everyone else out. So with that fragile face of his, man, I think it goes deep. I think it goes past 10 rounds, but I think Crawford knocks him out.
Postal's another one I think may be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's probably the only two they got on there.
Well, something I want to talk about real fast on there, too. I mean, it sounds to me, James, like you're telling, or that you're almost writing Kell Brook off as a bum because he had his eye sockets broke. But forget who he lost to. I mean, he lost to Hall of Famers. You know, he's only lost to Gennady Golovkin and Errol Spence Jr. That's the only two people he lost to. And we learned that lesson this week with Povetkin, where he only lost to two of the big boys in there, Joshua and Klitschko, and we saw what happened there. But
I'm telling you right now, Crawford is a better fighter than Kell Brook. That's what I say. Y'all don't like it. This is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but you got to respect it. All right. And I'm telling you right now, his face has been broken, both sides, right? Left and right.
Yeah, it was both. It was different one each time.
Yeah. And guess who has power?
But he fought
in both
through
hands?
that too. He fought through that. He wanted to keep fighting, and he just couldn't see.
Yeah. Well, some people aren't smart, man. What you want to say? All right. Some people are dumb, and they just want to keep going.
Well, it sounds to me like you and me need to have some kind of embarrassing bet on this thing. So, if Kell Brook wins, you're going to have to do something on camera embarrassing, even more than a Tecate bet. We'll have to figure something out.
Once it gets inked. If it gets inked, let's get that ink down on paper first.
Once it gets closer to it, you and me are going to have some kind of bet that will put for the fans to laugh at while we're on here. So
we'll have to do it live.
Yeah. Oh, we might have to live stream that fight anyway. We might have to be live for that fight. So,
hey, quickly, if you have a suggestion, put it in the comments. I never say stuff like comments and likes. Throw it in the comments, man. Let's see something here.
What's a good embarrassment bet? Crawford wins.
I got a few ideas.
Brook wins.
We'll put up a voting poll later on it. All right, I segued a little bit. Moving on to the next part of the news. There was a lot of big fights last weekend, and I have to give a shout-out to Judge Jimmy James here. He picked two underdogs last week, and they both came in. Not only did they both come in, but he pretty much predicted the outcome with the exception of Povetkin. He said decision, but Povetkin obviously with a great knockout of White in the 5th round. Judge, you said Povetkin would win if it went past round 4, which it did go past round 4. He knocked him out in the 5th round after Povetkin went down twice. I believe once in the 2nd, once in the 4th. Is that what?
Both in the 4th.
Was it both in the 4th?
Yeah.
I thought it was earlier than that. But Povetkin looked terrible to start that fight. You're right. He was a slow starter. Let's start with that one. We'll talk about all 3 fights here, but I wanted to give you your props first there, Judge. Way to pick that underdog. And silly me, couldn't bet the underdog because I forgot it was in England and it started at 2 p.m. here, and I was looking for it at 10 p.m. and it wasn't. So I tuned in right when the knockout happened. But I obviously went back and watched that fight. Since you called that fight, James, we'll start with you again. What was your thoughts on that fight and your thoughts of the future of Povetkin and White?
Oh, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I definitely didn't think Povetkin was going to knock him out. I thought given how White's performed in the past and the fact that he came in a lot lighter and a lot more cut, I thought White was gonna look better. He just didn't look any better than I've seen in the past.
He looked bigger.
And
he looked stronger. More cut.
But it didn't translate. Like when Fury and Wilder came in and Fury was heavier, it translated into something different. That didn't happen here with White. Now, however, White did knock him down twice with 2 good shots to the chin, which Povetkin got up pretty quick after both of those. But I mean, 2 knockdowns are still 2 knockdowns.
The second knockdown looked a little weak.
Dude, it's you take a shot to the face like that and see how quick you get back up, man. But
it's almost like taking a shot to the face like Lomachenko did to somebody. And
I don't know what you're talking about. But like I said before, in the previous one, like Povetkin's just a more technical fighter. And the tactician, in my eyes, is generally has an edge against people who have massive power. Not always, but Povetkin's old. He's crafty. That's what he does. That knockout was a beautiful shot, but give credit where credit's due, man. He's no slouch.
Filthy Rich, I want to toss it over to you here because both you and me had Dillian White as our number 3 heavyweights coming into this fight. How is this going to affect Dillian White's career? Is it take him completely out of the heavyweight title picture now after the 1 loss? They've already said that they're going to do a rematch. He had a rematch clause that he's going to enact, and apparently they're going to fight again. Povetkin wants it in Russia, but he said he'll fight him anywhere. He'll give him his rematch. If Dillian White wins that fight, does that put him back in the picture, or is he done now?
I'm not sure. All I know is we were just talking about Sugar Ray Robinson a week ago about that perfect punch. That looked like a perfect punch from Povetkin. White was wide open, hit him right in the mouth.
It was a
Down
great
he
slip.
goes.
You know, he slipped it and came right underneath him with the undercut or the uppercut. Undercut.
Uh, I don't know if I really care to see a rematch. I know White really wants one. I think White got lazy. I think he thought this fight was in the bag with those 2 knockdowns. He got lazy and got caught. And he's even said he's never trained for a fight like this. I'm talking the rematch. He has not trained, according to him, he hasn't trained for a fight like this ever. So I know he is looking forward. He wants to redeem himself. I'm over it. You need to go move on. I think some opponents I'd like to see is maybe White versus someone like Ortiz, who Ortiz just lost a couple, or he lost the one to Deontay Wilder. I'd like to see that fight. I would even like to see someone like maybe Usyk prove himself. Maybe Usyk and Dillian White in a fight. But Povetkin should move on. I think he should go after, I think he could fight someone like Tyson Fury. I think someone like maybe Kubrat Pulev is good. I think even Deontay Wilder would make a good fight. I know we're all hyped for Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, so I think we need to leave that alone. But even
still got to fight Wilder yet too again.
Even Joshua and Fury, if Povetkin wanted to go after either one of those two, I bet I'm on. Bring it on.
Well, the problem is Fury's plate's kind of full right now. He's got the rematch with
Wilder.
With Wilder coming up. No, I know I was trying to get a burp out of there off the microphone. He's got a rematch coming up with Wilder, and then after that he's got the Joshua fight. And Povetkin, as James points out, is no spring chicken. So I mean, I don't know if he can wait a year and a half, 2 years to fight the winner of that one. And
you have an X on your back, you take on all comers, and Fury has the X on his back. He has to go out and fight everyone. And these rematches, they don't have to be immediate rematches. You can fight in between. You can fight other guys until the rematch happens. Now, I know Povetkin's 40 years old and his clock is running, but that's the price you pay to be champ.
Well, we've also seen older heavyweights last a long time too, I guess. Even the Klitschko guys, the Foreman, all these guys lasted in their 40s. So maybe Povetkin's the way. But Povetkin really did look bad those first 4 rounds, though. It looked like he was not even a match. I mean, was it just a lucky punch? I don't know. But it counts as a W, and it's going to hurt Dillian White. I think Dillian White, it kind of smells like Dillian White almost wants to go like the Ruiz route where, I want to get that revenge, and now I'm still back in the title picture, like Ruiz, against Joshua. Maybe not. Maybe have him fight Povetkin fight Ruiz. That would be a good fight. I don't know. All right, the second one I want to give you some props on, James, is you also called Joe Smith Jr. beating Alvarez this weekend. Another good fight. Richie's not happy about that because me and him both had Alvarez in that fight as well. The judge picking 2 underdogs to win this week. He went 3-0 actually on the picks segment this week with picking 2 underdogs. So if you're in Vegas or if you know somebody in Vegas, you might want to hop on Jimmy James' hot streak right now. Let's talk a little bit about Alvarez and Joe Smith Jr. That was another great fight. Judge, you're smiling and laughing. Well, let's start with you, buddy. You nailed that one again too.
Yeah, that one was, I think, was just as tough to call as Povetkin White. Alvarez is actually, as me and Rich were touching base before the show, Alvarez was actually the more technical fighter of those two. But for me, I've seen Joe Smith fight his last 3 or 4 fights, and he is, when he knocked B-Hop out of the ring, he did the same thing to Alvarez, and he has just so much power that it makes him dangerous. It just makes him dangerous. He is not very skilled, and he doesn't have too much defense, but he definitely pushes forward. He pushes forward, and I was betting on that just because it's gone against all of his last couple of fights have gone that way, even though he hasn't knocked everybody out in his last couple of fights. He's still got 80% knockouts. And that's just, you can't go against that. But normally you can. Did it with Povetkin. But either way, that was
Well, unlike
that was a good
Povetkin,
fight.
too, I felt like Joe Smith Jr. controlled that whole fight, too. I mean, Alvarez started out hot, but it was, I don't know. I thought Joe Smith Jr. probably won on the cards, unlike Povetkin lost all 4 rounds coming into it.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know, man. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I thought Joe Smith Jr. just moved forward and swung all day long. Even last week when I didn't want to say anything, part of it was Smith Jr. Doesn't have much skills, man. All he does is swing as hard as he can and moves forward. And if I would have followed up last week, I would say if that's all he does, that's the only way he could win. And sure enough, that is all he did, and he ended up winning. And let me tell you, let me look right in the camera. Acquaintance of the show, don't you ever call me at 1:30 in the night when I am trying to sleep and go to work. Acquaintance of the show, I know you're watching. Don't you ever call me that late again. You understand? All right. Now, who do I want to – where do these guys go next? Let's start with Alvarez, who lost and who is old and did not look good at all. I think he can go a couple routes. For one, he's never going to be the top of the light heavyweight division. He has an option to move down, maybe fight Canelo. I don't think that's going to happen. The other options I have for Alvarez, Alvarez versus Alvarez, that'd be fun. Anyways, fight someone old like Jean Pascal. I think that would make a good fight, and loser has to retire. Like a hair versus hair match. Loser has to retire.
We're putting wrestling stipulations in these things.
Or he can fight someone like Badu Jack, who just never gets the right opponent, but I think the two of them would make a good fight. I think he can also get maybe this might be Alex Vozdik's call to come back in, and I think Alvarez is an easy win. Or he can hand the baton to someone like a Marcus Brown, hand it to the young guy and let him take off. Because at this point in Alvarez's career, he's a gatekeeper, nothing more, nothing less. As far as Joe Smith goes, go after Better BF. You don't need to do the Bivol thing. Go after Better BF. Now is the time.
Oh, Joe Smith's already lost to Bivol.
Right, that's why you don't touch Bivol. Don't even go after a rematch with Bivol. Go right to Better BF. He is the king of the division. You're on fire right now. Get him. But I know Bivol or Better BF just signed a fight coming up soon, but that should be the fight he should focus on. Right now, I think he's number 3 in that division behind Bivol and Better BF.
Better BF kills him, I think. I really do. Be fun to watch power versus power, though. But if he walks right into Better BF like that, Better BF's going to knock him into the third row.
5'4".
Oh, you calling upset?
No, I'd call him. No. I'd say he said he was 3 in the division. I'd call Joe Smith Jr. 4.
Who do you have at 3 then?
Ramirez. Gilberto Ramirez.
He's at light. Yeah, he is at light heavyweight. Huh. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'd put him ahead of him at this point.
We're gonna have to start redoing our filthy fives again.
That might be a good fight right there. But
that is a good fight.
I think Ramirez would destroy him. So I think a better fun. I agree with you, Rich. Better BF would be a good one. Joe Smith Jr. Better BF. What's up?
I think Better BF wins that fight in 5 rounds. I don't think.
Someone's getting knocked out.
It's true. That one is not going the distance. We can all agree on that one. There may be an over/under of 8 rounds. You never see that. So all right. Hey, let's also move on. Rich, I want to touch on you with this one here. The last big fight last week was Porter versus Formella. You actually called this one that you said it would go the distance, and I don't know if you said it on the air, but you also said, I think you said it to me, that it will probably be a boring fight, and it was. It was a typical boring. It wasn't typical boring because Porter fought Errol Spence really good, and that was not a boring fight. But this one was a boring fight. Sean Porter won every round, didn't really put him in trouble, and it was a long, boring fight. I'll let you touch on Porter, Formella, and we don't need to talk about Formella, but the future of Porter in that division, at least. This seemed like a tune-up fight that Formella was not even in his league. I'll let you take it.
Well, I was going to say the only person to talk about is Formella. I think we found someone in the welterweight division who is like the gatekeeper. You last 12 rounds with Porter. That is impressive, no matter who you are. Errol Spence did it. Danny Garcia did it. Kell Brook did it. How many guys can say they went all 12 with Porter? Yeah, he may have lost every single round, but he went all 12 with Porter. I think Formella became a star. Maybe not a star, but Formella is now a name I think we may see in the future. There's nothing I can share about Porter, but I think wouldn't say I'm excited to see Formella again, but he's a name I'm going to be familiar with moving forward.
Oh, we're familiar with him, but he doesn't excite me. I mean, he lost all 12 of those rounds convincingly. I didn't see anything that made me excited to watch a Formella fight. Going, man, we have to go watch Formella fight. He's fighting whoever, you know. Maybe maybe he's just a gatekeeper. He's a tune-up fighter now for anybody. What do you think, James?
He's a tune-up fight. 100%. I mean, I agree with that. But, I mean, Rich is right. You still go 12 rounds with Porter.
It didn't look like Porter
impressive.
was really trying to hit the knockout that whole fight. You know,
look, the only knock I got on Porter is it seemed like he kind of played down to his opponent.
Right.
That's the only thing I got for that. I thought Porter was going to knock him out, but
watching that fight, it looked like Porter didn't want to take any chances and not lose any chances. Basically, is what it was. There was no excitement to it. It was just blah.
I should tell you everything you need to know about Formella. You can't take chances with him, or you might lose, and Porter knew that.
Maybe Porter didn't really train well enough for this fight and just kind of looked past it to walk in the park. I'm just going to be able to win on points. Just he's not going to be able to keep up with me.
I guess we'll find out in the next fight.
Who do you want to see Porter fight next then?
I don't know, man. Let's fight Crawford.
Let him fight Kell Brook after Kell Brook wins that next fight?
Oh, man, I don't know. Let's watch him fight anybody.
Kell Brook, that'd be an
interesting
Garcia. Kell Brook's way too big for Porter, right?
I mean, if you're talking 147, 154.
Well, I know, but Porter is a smaller 147 too. I mean, he's a shorter, more compact fighter.
Formella was 5'11". Errol Spence is 5'11". Man, these guys are big dudes. Porter's just small for his division, but it makes him no less dangerous just because he fights larger people and he's got a.
It makes it less likely for Porter to move up to 154 since he's a small 147. Is my point.
I don't know, man.
What do you think, Rich?
About who I want to see Porter fight next?
Yeah, we all like Porter.
Maybe Pacquiao. I know he wants a winner of Garcia and Spence, but I know Pacquiao was part of a poll. I believe PBC threw up a poll, and who was next for Porter? One of them was Pacquiao. The other one was the winner between Garcia and Spence. The third option slipped me, but I wouldn't mind seeing Pacquiao Porter.
Pacquiao Porter, that's an interesting one. I've never thought of that one. That is an interesting one.
Dude,
what do you think, James? You like this?
Yeah, I do. There are so many people at 147. It is ridiculous. I'm looking over this list.
Yeah, there's so many people there that Terence Crawford won't fight. Man. You know, it's just amazing.
You shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. No, either way.
I feel like if I can get down to 147, I'd have to lose, 100 pounds, I feel like. But I feel like he'd fight me before he'd fight any of these guys.
No, you're too much money.
Well, Kell Brook's apparently getting $1.5 million for that fight. I'd do it for half that.
Do it for a cheese sandwich, wouldn't you, Raider?
I would. A cheese sandwich full of money, full of $800,000, but I'd still do it. All right, let's move on here, guys. So we had a great fight, or great 3 fights last weekend. Well, 2 of them were on paper 3 great fights. 2 of them were really good fights. This weekend we got Postal versus Ramirez. Richie, let's touch on what you think of this fight coming up, who you got, and what to look for.
Well, I feel like this could be like a make or break fight for Postal. I think he has to win this fight, or he just drops in the division where he may be forgotten. Ramirez, I believe, is still young enough where a loss to Postal isn't going to affect him 5 years from now. I don't know who I like in this fight. My guess would be because Postal has something to fight for. I would take him to win. Might go 12. It'll probably go to the judges' scorecards. Postal's got skills. Ramirez has skills. Should be a good fight.
What is that fight on? Is it on ESPN, The Zone? Do you guys know?
ESPN, I think.
I'm looking it up here. It's in China. They're fighting in China.
It's not on the Zone.
It is on ESPN. You're right. It was on ESPN. So that should be it's a junior welterweight fight for the title. Obviously, it should be fun. Well, what do you think, there, James? Is the Iceman gonna pull this one out or not?
Postol's old, man. He's 35. That's old. Ramirez, I think he's 27. I feel like he just moved up into this division. Maybe I'm wrong, but he fought one big fight. He's got 2 belts, but I think Ramirez just has the edge just on age alone for this one. But Postol could easily come out and shove it. But if it goes the distance, that's Postol's best chance at winning, I think. But I don't think it does. I think Ramirez is overpowering.
Will be the first Top Rank on ESPN event to be held on Chinese soil. Interesting. Bob Arum, way to go. You got anything else you want to add to that, Richie, about Postal Ramirez or any other fights this weekend?
No.
Okay. Judge, you got anything else? Okay.
I mean,
oh, you said I mean.
do
okay.
you have anything else, Raider?
No, I'm the host. I'm going around with it here. I'm just trying to touch on everything here. Just trying to make sure our fans get all the information from our experts as possible. I want to move on to the next part, though. We talked last week about the Golden Boy making his return, saying he ain't going to be fighting no exhibitions. He's going to be fighting real fighters. And Bad Left Hook released his possible 6 opponents, according, I think this is from Golden Boy himself, right? Rich, I think you were talking about that. You're the one with the breaking news last week with Oscar. I assume maybe you had him on speed dial there. But the 6 opponents, I'm going to put them down on the list. James, point one of the which ways, point of direction. Okay, it's right there. It'll be right there. Here are the 6. Canelo Alvarez, Sergio Martinez, Conor McGregor, Miguel Cotto, Gary Spike O'Sullivan, and then, of course, Amir Khan. Rub it up again.
Twice. That's twice on the show. Twice.
2 times. Bringing it back. I hope everyone in the Philippines loves Amir Khan as much as we do. All right. I want to bust this to you guys. First off, how many of these guys are just like, we can just cross them off the list as they're just, BS. And are any of these guys the ones that you want to watch him fight? Is he have a chance against any of these guys? The only one I see that personally think he can beat is Conor McGregor. But we'll go with you guys. Rich, what do you think?
Well, hopefully the people in the Philippines love Amir Khan as much as Amir Khan loves Amir Khan. You gotta get that one right. Let's see. He could probably beat O'Sullivan. I don't know. Martin. I mean, I wouldn't be excited for it. It's not something. Where is my money going? It's not going to O'Sullivan. Like, I'm not gonna buy a Spike O'Sullivan De La Hoya pay-per-view. Not doing it. I'm also not going to do the Sergio Martinez De La Hoya pay-per-view. I really like Miguel Cotto. I miss Miguel Cotto. I remember his last fight. I think it was against Saddam Ali, when Saddam Ali beat him on HBO and Max Kellerman had the long interview with him. My goodness, that one hurt when he left. I would love to see Miguel Cotto come back for whatever reason. So that's what I would want to see. I think Miguel Cotto beats him. Don't want to see Canelo. I just don't care. I think Amir Khan would be a good fight, and I think Conor McGregor would be a good fight. But Miguel Cotto is the one I want to see. That'd be nice.
Miguel Cotto, that would be an interesting fight. I really think that he loses. I but Cotto is at least closer to him in age. Was Cotto 40 now? I think he's 40 or close to it. He's got to be up there. I mean, he's no 105 years old like Golden Boy is, but James, what do you think about of these 6 fighters? Who do you, since you're buying the pay-per-view and we're going to your house, which one are you going to put the money up against that you are going to feel the most confident?
Oh, Jesus. I'm not. No, I mean, so you can wipe Canelo's name out. That's just dumb.
Why did he put Canelo on there? Before
I don't
you get
know.
into it, why would Canelo be on there? That makes no sense to me in the fact that obviously Canelo is under Golden Boy contract, but why would De La Hoya come back and fight Canelo? Is it just to lay down for Canelo? Like, he doesn't have to lay down for him, but just to give Canelo more rep that, yeah, he beat Oscar De La Hoya at 105 years old? Or, is that – because that does reek of a Canelo fighting guys that he has no business fighting right now, because that seems to be Canelo's MO right at this moment.
Twice the payday, man. De La Hoya's getting paid for De La Hoya, and De La Hoya's getting paid for Golden Boy. So it's twice the payday. That's why the name's on there.
Lose for Golden Boy. It's lose for De La Hoya if he has that fight. If he loses,
what do you mean?
Money,
man.
Hurt. If he wins that fight, he destroys his number one prospect, his number one guy. If Canelo Alvarez goes in and somehow loses that fight to Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy loses how much money?
Man,
a ton of money.
You're crazy. And first, we're not even talking. I'm not even continuing that one. That's just
but I'm
dumb.
just saying,
we're
it
not,
makes
that's
no
just
sense
dumb.
why he's
There's
on
no
the
point.
list.
Then let's move on.
Okay.
Cross his name off. I don't care about that.
It's interesting that he's on the list, though, because it's a lose-lose situation for De La Hoya. He can't
No,
win.
it's not. It's money, man. It's regardless.
Yeah, but
McGregor,
he loses money
cross
if he
him
wins
off.
that fight. If De La
No,
Hoya
he
wins
doesn't.
that fight,
You
he
don't
loses
understand business, do you? He makes all the money no matter what. He makes twice the payday. Twice the payday.
I understand that. But if you
do you?
I do. But I'm saying
then let's move
future
on.
money he's going to lose if he beat Canelo would be.
If you think he's going to beat Canelo, you are delusional, dude.
No, he's not going to beat him, but you never know.
Then there is no what if.
Canelo could break his hand on his hip, or Canelo could,
And that's going to cause him to lose the fight?
Good. You never know.
TF out of here, man.
I'm just saying it's lose.
Throw him away.
It makes no sense.
We're not talking about that anymore.
All
Conor
right.
McGregor, throw him away. Don't care about him. Spike O'Sullivan, that's a stupid name too. Throw him away. Amir Khan, I don't know why his name's in there. He's just throwing his name in everything. It's like
he represents himself, man.
He's just playing the number game at that point. How many times can I throw my name into this one hat to get it? I mean, if I want to see anybody, I got to agree with Rich, man. I'd want to see Miguel Cotto. I miss Miguel Cotto.
Not Sergio Martinez?
I'm not done yet, Raider.
Oh, sorry.
Dang. Keep interrupting me. Miguel Cotto would be a really good fight. I miss Miguel Cotto just like Rich does. Martinez is probably the one that's the most logical to actually getting made if we actually move forward, because he just came back. He's 45. De La Hoya is 47. And Martinez just knocked somebody out in 7. So that's probably the fight that's going to happen, but I'd rather see Cotto.
So of all these, what do you guys put on the odds? If you're looking at this here, what do you think? If you had to narrow it down to one guy, who do you think it's going to be out of these 6? Rich, who do you think it's going to be?
I don't think it's going to be Cotto. I don't think it'll be McGregor. For one, Miguel Cotto's retired. I don't think he's going to come back even for the right price. I think you might see, let me rephrase that. If Miguel Cotto can get one of his guys from his stable on the undercard, I think there's a chance Cotto comes back and he doesn't fight for the money. He does it to promote one of his stable guys. McGregor's price is going to be too high. Canelo, it makes sense, but I don't think that's going to happen. Amir Khan wants money. Amir Khan don't know what to do. So if Oscar thinks he can beat Amir Khan, I think that's the one. That's the big money fight for both of them. Again, O'Sullivan and Martinez, I don't think those are – Martinez maybe, but I don't think O'Sullivan – unless O'Sullivan gets paid nothing and just to show up, I don't know. So you're
Hey, they
basically
got free catering at these events, so maybe
so you're asking me basically the odds-on favorite of fighting Oscar De La Hoya.
If De La Hoya is telling the truth and says these are the final 6, who's it going to be your most likely person out of these 6?
Amir Khan.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I think because as we said, Cotto, McGregor, they're both retired. O'Sullivan doesn't make any money. Martinez, I mean, it's closer in age, and then he's not fighting Canelo. So I think Amir Khan's the one. What do you think, James?
I say Sergio Martinez.
Interesting. I think I could see it. I just because they're closer in age, but I think the money would be in Amir Khan. It really would. But
is anything with that? I don't, man. I guess if you say so, Raider. I don't know.
You don't think the money's in that? Well, the money's either in that or in the Conor McGregor fight. That would be a lot of money. That would be a big money fight too if we can get Conor McGregor. I mean, Conor McGregor's not a boxer. We all know that. We were bored with it in the Mayweather fight, but McGregor, he still draws money. You're gonna get them MMA people going to buy that fight. You're gonna double dip basically in it. Did you guys happen to see what Dana White said about Oscar De La Hoya coming out of retirement? Did you guys see this?
Yeah, someone likes nose candy.
Yeah, he says cocaine's really expensive nowadays.
Yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug. So says Rick James.
That's a great line. Cocaine's really expensive. So I don't know. All right. So I asked you say Amir Khan, you say Sergio Martinez. Who can he beat out of these 6? And is it going to be a one-fight thing, you think? Is it just going to be one and done for Oscar?
I mean, he can beat O'Sullivan. I don't fear that guy at all. He can beat McGregor. Khan, just because of his age, is going to be tough. Martinez, I don't know, man. That guy's decent. And he ain't beating no Canelo, man. I don't know.
No, he's not beating Canelo.
That's just dumb.
All right, we'll just go right through the list here. Him against Canelo. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Does he beat him?
No, he doesn't win.
Down. Okay. Him against Sergio Martinez. Does he beat him? I go down.
I'm going to say no.
I can say no, too. So 3 no's. Conor McGregor. Does he beat him? I say he beats him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Miguel Cotto. Does he beat him? I say no. No. Amir Khan. Does he beat him? I say no.
No. Amir Khan is still active.
Yeah, I mean,
De La Hoya hasn't fought in 12 years. Amir Khan is at least, he's shown up to fights. I don't know if he actually participates, but he shows up. So
he gets that paycheck, and sometimes you get hit in the testicles. So thumbs up, thumbs down. James, I don't think you said Amir Khan. You got Amir Khan in that fight?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And Gary Spike O'Sullivan, does he beat him? I don't think he does. I'm going to be the only one that says no.
There's not enough mustache pomade for him to no. He's beating Gary Spike O'Sullivan, all right?
He's just so old, though. I mean,
O'Sullivan's like 40, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe he's 36. I don't know. Whatever, man. He's old too, man.
He just looks old, I think. But I should look that up, how old Spike O'Sullivan is. But all right. So, yeah, that's what De La Hoya's next opponent could be. I think we all agree Amir Khan's the way to go. I mean, I'm not going to play the music for the 5th time or 6th time or whatever it is, but we did it twice. That's good enough. All right, everybody. Thank you all very much for joining us this week. We're just going to do news this week as we're still working on some new segments to bring to the show. Our new format's going to be news, and then we'll do 1 segment a week, but we're still working on some fun new segments. We also might throw a poll down there. I haven't decided yet on which segments are your favorite to bring back. And then we'll have some new ones as well that won't be in the poll, some surprises for you. We're also talking about doing some live streams during some fights. If you'd be interested in watching that, please like this video. Like this video anyway, by the way. And please, if you watch this on Facebook and you like the Raider Live Facebook page, thank you very much for that, first off. Second off, you already did that. All you need to go is the YouTube page and like that for us and subscribe to that for us. And then we can actually start, spreading out a little more. And I really appreciate everybody that tunes in every week. Gentlemen, do you guys any final words coming up here? Filthy Rich, you got anything?
Shout out to the NBA and basically the entire sports world on what's going on right now. Shout out to my friend Kelsey on her engagement. Shout out to my friend Hannah on her marriage, both over the last Saturday since we had a show. Happy Jackie Robinson Day, Minnesota. Curfew. Be safe. Cheers to all you guys.
I'll cheers to that. Judge, you want to follow that? That's a tough one.
All I'm going to say is Caleb Truax, hometown boy, fights this weekend too. Go watch that on the undercard of the Postal fight. No, that's not
Lara.
No. Lara.
Yeah.
And Rob Brandt from Oakdale won last week too.
Boom.
Caleb, hopefully to have you on there. Caleb, when
Minnesota strong.
Win or lose, you need to come on our show. We'll definitely drink your beer when you're on our show here. We'd love to have you. We've been in talks with them a few different times. So please join our show. And to everyone else, thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned. We got all sorts of fun stuff. We're 21 episodes in. We got 100 more in the can coming up. So join us every week. We release every Friday for the latest boxing news. For Judge Jimmy James, for Filthy Rich, I am Raider Live. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week.